welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I am Kellie de Leon with Treasure Data, and we are partnering with CDO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers in a series of interviews. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Brigette Guyer, the Director of Data Governance at the Wendy's Company. Hi, Brigette.
Hi, Kellie. So great to be here with you.
Thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us. I'm excited about our conversation to kind of explore all of these different topics that are so relevant for today.
Yeah.
Very interesting topic that we're talking about here today, just kind of talking about, both data governance and data privacy. Of course, companies gathering customer data and holding, whether it's first party data or third party data about their customers is certainly nothing new. But I think a lot of companies are facing an influx of more data than they've ever had before as things continue to go more and more digital and more of our interactions are digitized. It just has led to this sort of proliferation of so much more data. And I think that's a really positive thing in terms of so many doors opening for how brands can connect with customers and deliver that really exceptional customer experience. But I'm sure also where more data comes in, I'm sure that probably adds a little bit of complexity to your role, as there are, more channels and more places and more ways that data can come in and go out. I'm curious, have you seen this proliferation of data, impact either your role or even how you might be partnering with, your team members and other business functions like marketing?
I think maybe, especially having been in the data world for some time now, we've just become accustomed to it. But the digital transformation is ubiquitous, right? Like everyone's going through a digital transformation. It's just the reality of what's happening. And so to your point, it's just more and more data. Where I find the biggest impacts or sort of some of the biggest shifts are where organizations have to start to think about data differently. And, a lot of organizational change management, where as companies go through a digital transformation, where they may have been a burger restaurant at one point in time, or a retail clothing store, what they find is now maybe they're a little bit more of also a technology company because of that digitization, because of all of the data. And so really focusing on data is now an asset to the company. And so we have to think about it differently, really driving data literacy. And not everyone's going to be a data science. We're not scientists. We're not trying to create data scientists, but really at all levels of the company, kind of elevating that understanding of data as an asset, and then getting to, which is my bread and butter, sort of like that core. If we want all this data, and we want all this data because we want to understand a little bit better about what are our customers really wanting? What experience do they want to have? How do we meet those needs? Or, how do we make sure that we have a very diverse employee base, and that our company looks like our customers, and so that we have that diversity, kind of using data to inform our understanding of that we have to have a base level of trust and governance and management of our data, and that we have to, make sure that we are sort of thinking about where we have that personal data, how do we protect that data, make sure people are aware and they have choices on what data we have and how that's being used. I think that those are all things that we really have to think about and support the company in and our business partners in understanding as we get more data, there becomes more responsibility, and we have to treat data maybe differently than 15 years ago when we weren't necessarily going through a digital transformation and we didn't have as much data. So I mean, that's the way that I really think about it, and with multiple organizations have experienced sort of that interaction and that alignment between data governance, data management, and just sort of this increase in data and a digital transformation.
It's so true that that explosion of more data is a lot of, it's a privilege and it's a power, but it also, requires us to think about it as guardians and as protectors of that information that is entrusted to us. I couldn't agree more with one of the things that you said, which is that data should be one of a company's greatest assets, but sometimes it can feel like it's at risk of becoming one of the biggest headaches. I think instead, if it's not handled, correctly, and if there aren't the right sort of processes and technologies and governance and all of that in place. Certainly the other thing that has come about with so much digital transformation and lots of digital data and digital interactions is, the potential for hackers and other bad actors. That's not new, but perhaps there's a bigger spotlight shown on that, or maybe even some new openings, perhaps. And so to me, that just shines an even brighter spotlight on the importance of data privacy, on the importance of, governance and folks in roles like yours that are making sure that companies truly are the guardians and protectors of the data that they have in their ownership or in their stewardship. So I just kind of wanted to ask you, are you seeing kind of a renewed interest in protecting data just by how much maybe bad actors have been in the news in the last couple of years? And are you seeing renewed interest or, deeper investment, in the idea of data privacy and protecting data?
Yeah, and I think it's hard to say it's a renewed interest. I think it's always been a top priority for us, and I have amazing information security partners. I think maybe some of the biggest things that have come out of it is that we have commitment from the senior level leadership in the organization, awareness from the senior level leadership in the organization. And the biggest thing that it is driven is trying to make sure that our priorities and our sort of strategy is aligned, and so that we're not kind of data governance and privacy management aren't working in a silo, and then we've got security and technology doing things, and in our data analytics organization, really focused on breaking down silos and thinking about them as sort of working together to really create an integrated approach to data protection, security, privacy. And so that's really what I would say is I don't think it's a new interest or renewed, because it's always been there. It's just that I would say, again, really investing in understanding how intertwined technology is with data, and data is with privacy, and privacy is with security. So I think that that's probably, it's just really an investment in a continued sort of investment in making sure that those are all aligned and they continue to work together.
Thank you so much, Brigette, for this conversation. It's been really great to learn from you and your perspective and all of the ways that you're thinking about navigating this really complex environment that is changing so rapidly and such an important role that you play. So thank you for joining me today for this conversation. And, for those of you who are watching, please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.